Good morning.
Good morning.
Can
It's
you
a
believe it's
cool morning today.
yeah, that's why brilliant minds think alike. I was about to say, can you believe it's middle of November?
I know. Yeah.
I was actually in doing a first kind of official cold plunge. The temperature of water was still 71, and we were laughing because Joanna is attempting to do her first cold plunge this year. She keeps delaying it. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but allegedly tomorrow she's gonna attempt to get in the cold water. So I should probably stream live to our group so you guys can take a you can crack at her at making the attempt. But um, good is it good morning? We publish in the morning, so good morning, guys. Episode I think 15.
It is episode
Um,
16.
Yeah, episode 15. It's Marcin, Joanna. We basically document our weight loss journey. Sometimes we go up, sometimes we go down. Our goal is to hit 100 pounds combined. I think last number we reported on together was 34 point something. This week, actually, it will be a little different for a couple of reasons, but the numbers, we didn't take the actual numbers this week. But you said you think you went up a little bit, like maybe half a pound.
Yes, I did. So I kind of track what's going on with my body. And wasn't. So I do a 24-hour fast every day. Sometimes it goes into, I mean, every week. Sometimes it goes into 36 hours. And that usually pushes my weight, my stubborn weight. This time around, I know I was not drinking enough of water. I didn't, I had a hard time getting down even a liter. I don't know if it's the temperature going down and I don't know. No excuses. You know what? I need to drink my water down and over with.
Yeah,
So yeah, so I went up actually, I think point 0.6, point 0.8, something like that.
yeah,
So
and I think
I feel
in my
good.
case,
I feel good. So I just want to make one point though. I feel good.
mhm,
I feel my stomach going down. I feel my body feels better, but yet
yeah,
the scales are representing something else. And that's a perfect example. Don't stress about it. If you feel good, you'll stand in a mirror and you see that your stomach or whatever your area is that you don't like, for me it's my stomach, is smaller, thinner. You're starting to see the lines on the side. Wow, right? Congratulations to me.
that's all it is. Sometimes weirdly enough, I'm totally with you. Sometimes I even gain weight, but I feel better.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily all about numbers. We kind of know that already. For me, I think I actually went down half a pound. We didn't. I don't have the exact numbers, but we'll report numbers next time. What happened this week? It's a little different than any standard week. Joanna helped me to get dressed this morning, so hopefully I can sit through the episode. But I was actually cleaning girls' rooms and I bent awkwardly, and I had injured back in the past, and I just keep re-injuring every few years or months or whatever it is. So back in that position, but we're plowing through it. Nobody's complaining. Moving forward, and that's really what we have to focus on. Um, and one thought before we get going today, we have a super exciting topic. I actually love kind of this topic resurfaces in our house because it's something that we do all the time, and we have to sort of remind ourselves on doing the different hacks. We'll talk about it in a second. One thing that was on my mind last night when I was thinking about the episode was that um, the this journey of shedding pounds and just kind of staying in the zone and sort of not losing the momentum and the motivation behind it. I just wanted to say that this you should expect being uncomfortable, right? Because a lot
Yes.
of times we're seeking this sort of a state of mind of just like I just want to be comfortable during this process, and it's like it's impossible almost, right? It's like it's counterintuitive because if you think about it, in order to lose weight, you have to you have to get to this deficiency of calories, right? Less calories. You are gonna feel a little hungry here and there. So And that's why we're offering the different ways of like the different days and the different methods, because people just choose to do it different ways. But the thing is, when you have a caloric deficit, you are going to feel hungry. But that feeling of being hungry tells you, it's a signaling system that it's like that's the point when you're gonna start losing, because body then switches. So like, don't think of it negative. Think of it of like, hey, if I can push that window, if I can push that hour, if I can push that breakfast, if I can, if I can eat my dinner earlier and get a little bit hungrier. It's the magic is really like figuring out, how can you make uncomfortable less uncomfortable, but never expect that you're going to be perfect, because that's why we're jumping into other solutions like pills and methods and substances and whatever, because we think that we want to be comfortable, and chemistry will do the work, and it's not true. So now I get it off my chest. We can move on to the main topic of the episode. What are we talking about today?
So today, very exciting episode, I believe. It's something that got me on the journey of this whole thing. Um, it, I sat down, I listened to an interview once, and that changed my whole world. You made me sit down with you and listen,
Yeah.
and that's when I just took off. So today, I want to talk about 7 hacks to decrease your blood glucose and the spikes that we have, which cause a lot of things. But we're going to talk about what happens when you eat. Just a quick reminder, why don't we want those high sugar spikes in our bloodstream? Hacks you can use, some examples, and the benefits of it. Okay. uh, just before I start, we did talk about glucose and what happens in your body at a very, I think, detailed way in episode 4. If I don't give you, if we both don't give you enough of information now, go to episode 4, and that's where you're going to get detailed information along with testing your blood sugar, what we use, how we do it, and the benefits of it all. Okay. So, all right, Marcin. So I think it's good to start off with what
Yeah.
happens when we
Yeah,
eat
before
sugar.
we get there, I know you said episode 4. For those of you that it's like, okay, where do I find episode 4? If you're in the Facebook group, you can simply scroll down to episode 4, or there's actually at the top of the Facebook group there's a tab called Guide. If you click on Guide, you have a list of all the episodes, right? So you can find it there if you're looking for details. And to add, you said the hacks. This is how you started. The original the idea came originally from, I'm gonna butcher the name, but I think it's Jesse Inchospe. I'm
Yes,
butchering
she's
the name,
French.
but yeah, right. She's a doctor, and that's whenever we're sharing information, remember, we are curating information always, so that we're always pulling information either from books, interviews, or other sources. So that's where this one comes from. It works phenomenally for us. It helps us because it's almost like a cheat code in the game. So that's what we're talking about. Yeah, I think we could just get going on that.
All right. So, as you may know or may not know, but your body needs glucose. It uses glucose as its main source of energy. We get that from food, carbs, your starchy foods. You get them from sugars, all different desserts, fruit, and so forth. Now, the point is to get enough, eat only enough to burn off as whatever you need to survive and keep going. We don't do that nowadays. We have the fridge open, we just take food whenever we want to, and this causes sugar being stored away and very high spikes because all of them, most of the foods that we eat are they have sugar in them. A bit, if you take a look at ingredients, sugar is in everything, things that you wouldn't even think about. And we tend to pile all this food on at the same time, which increases our spike for the first food we put in. It's so much sugar that it goes way up high and your body goes a little bit crazy. The point is to have as little amount of spikes throughout your life as possible. But let's start with the day. If we keep them down to a minimum during the day, that's a great beginning. What happens when you do have a lot of spikes? You constantly feel tired, your food cravings increase, you're hungry every 2 hours, inflammation in your body, aging, low hormone imbalance, difficult with menopause symptoms. That's what got me there, why I started looking even more into it, and PCOS and brain fog. Long term of these spikes in your body leads to type 3 diabetes and Alzheimer's. That is proven. That's the case. Nothing else to there's no other information out there at this point to say no, it's something different. Okay. So what happens? We get the sugar, our body uses the sugar. We have too much sugar in our body. The cells go, whoa, crazy, too much sugar. Pancreas comes in to help out, gets insulin. So insulin can carry this sugar out throughout your body. The insulin helps store the sugar into fat, and it's stored as fat, outside fat, as you see, or fat that is around your organs, which is the fat that we don't even think about, but it's the worst for you. Long term of doing all this, you can see on the outside of your body is by wrinkles, premature wrinkles all over your face, and inside your body is that fat that I talked about around your organs, and your organs actually slowing down in the way that they're working. So they're not as efficient as they should be. Uh, when there's too much insulin in your body, you're not going into your burning your fat. You're not switching over, and that also then goes into a type 2 diabetes. So as you see, it's this vicious circle. If we have a lot of sugar, the insulin sticking around, you're not burning what have stored already, and then you're hungry even more, so then you eat even more food. There's no time, because of these spikes of your glucose spikes, there's no time for you to actually start burning the things that you have eaten previously, and your body has very smartly, for you to survive, has put it away for a bad time. So basically that is what's going on in your body with these spikes and with the sugar coming in. Marcin, I'm not sure if you want to add something to that.
So yeah, a couple, two or three things that you mentioned. One was, and those are things that I have learned, and even recently, over time. You mentioned, because some people may care more, some people may care less. Like ladies, you mentioned PCOS, right? I never knew what PCOS was. I know it's something that we kind of have been struggling with, or whatever, or thinking about when we were trying to have the first kid. But the PCOS, polycystic ovarian,
Ovarian. Hmm.
or yeah,
Syndrome, yeah.
syndrome. So it's
Hmm.
basically, like you mentioned, insulin. This is what I've heard from even recent interview. Somebody was saying that it's basically infertility problems linked to high insulin, and high insulin is there to counteract high glucose, and high glucose is from those spikes that you're talking about. So it's like linked together. If you eat
Correct.
shit food, a lot of glucose, and because of a lot of glucose, a lot of insulin, and insulin is then affecting your ovaries. So basically, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard something about ovaries producing maybe even more testosterone. Is that what I?
It's possible. I'm not 100% sure, so
That's
I
okay.
don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
We're beyond that phase of our life, but I should find out more, because
yeah,
it's like you said, there's so much research on it that if you
yeah,
decrease your sugar, you will have uh, less problems conceiving a baby.
yeah.
Which infertility right now is very high for women.
Correct, correct.
um so ladies, or maybe ladies that have kids that are in their 20s trying to get pregnant, or their family members, or anybody, please look into it. It's really, really worth it. The studies out there, decrease your sugar for 4 weeks and amazing things will happen. These hacks actually there's research on it with using these hacks, and they help 100%.
Yeah, yeah,
So
and I don't know why I'm thinking about infertility, but I think it's because so kind of like cancer. It was, if you rewind back 15, 20 years ago, it wasn't as common, and these days I can't remember what the statistics is. Every one out of two women or one out of three guys are basically statistically um, targeted to have potentially cancer, right? Like it just become this natural thing, and it's all food related. Same thing with infertility. Before, prior to again, rewinding back 10 years, 15 years, nobody really talked about infertility that much. I don't think we were making the link, and now we know it's related to food, and it's crazy, like you said. Eat certain way for a little bit. I think the study that I was reading about was 12 weeks of trying to make the baby, right? So like before you do that, focus on your diet, which is absolutely mind blowing because it's like women don't even talk about it, but it's like
no,
it's just insane for me to think that it would be linked to food, right? um,
correct,
so
correct.
so that's one thing, and then you also said type 3 diabetes, which is not something that I think we normally talk about type 1 and type 2 diabetes, but type 3 diabetes, that's when we talk about Alzheimer, and it's exactly the same system. It's the same inner workings inside your body because of the insulin, because of the crappy food that we're eating, and we're fueling our body the wrong way. Our brain derives energy. Our brain is, it's one of those. I think brain is number one organ in terms of energy consumption, right?
Hmm.
So it eats up close to whatever 20% or just over 20% of our total energy, and all this energy is then derived from what we're putting in our mouth, and a lot of times over time when you're eating bad, that fuel degrades, and so does your brain function, right? So a lot of people are wondering, like, oh, it's sort of, people think of it as like a random thing. They hear about somebody getting Alzheimer, and it's like, oh, hopefully it's not me. Well, guess what? If you're fueling your body with shitty food, chances of you getting Alzheimer very high. If you switch over and to more of an organic whole foods way of eating, chances of you getting Alzheimer almost none. Read on it. Don't take my word for it. But that's I remember reading it. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know that it was so closely related.
Correct. Right now, I'm reading a book by Lisa Monstachetti, I believe. She's a doctor that does research on Alzheimer's, and but she does it all by PET scans of your brain. And and right now, I read one book already that talks about the menopause brain, but this is about feeding your brain. Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
This doctor goes, I was never taught this in school. I went to a seminar to present my work, and somebody goes to me, what about olives? Olives help your brain. And she goes, what? She started doing all this research, and she created this book about what food to feed your brain. Amazing. Your brain, like Marcin said, needs a lot of energy. It takes energy and a source of sugar. If you feed it the right sugars, which sugar is in almost everything naturally out in the ground, out, you feed it its natural sugars and natural fats from your fishes, from your olives, from avocados, your brain will be the happiest. It will not decrease in size, which is normal for it to do when it's not getting what it needs. It will shine beautifully on a test, on a PET scan, because you want all these beautiful colors on your brain, not gray area. So it's 100% the food that we eat.
Yeah.
So,
Um, we talk about glucose spikes and really talk about weight loss, but a lot of it is derived from the way you eat. I'm just flashing quickly QR code in case you're watching us for the first time. You can scan the code and just get to our Facebook group. If you're on Facebook group and you're watching this, you can scan this and get to our YouTube channel where we share like shorts and full episodes. But that's really what it is. So just to summarize, it's the way we eat. It's about glucose spikes, and the game is really how do we decrease the number and the intensity of those spikes. So two things: we want to get them lower and
mhm,
and kind of extend them, right?
correct,
And change the frequency, because every time you put something in your mouth, glucose jumps, right? So the
correct.
last the less, if we cut down our meals, less spikes, uh, lower amplitude of those spikes, and that's really what today's episode is about: hacks. How can we sort of help our body to deal with those spikes? What are the things that we can implement on daily basis that will help us with winning this game?
And they work 100%, you guys. When I just stop paying attention to them,
Yep.
I have more cravings, I'm looking for more sugar. I am not even wanting to eat the right things. Um, this all works together. So let's start with number one. Start your meals with veggies. It's all about the fiber, everyone. You want the fiber to go into your stomach first. Why? It completely lines your intestines and it creates this mesh, almost like in your stomach. So when you do put in any other food that is sugar, has sugar in it, it doesn't go straight into your system. Fiber helps slowly break down of this sugar for it before it goes into your body. This will help you tremendously. Uh, okay, so sorry, I'm just reading because there's some important facts, and it's okay that if you eat this, any. I'm sorry. Take a step back. I get excited and I talk too much or too quick. Um, any veggie will work, you guys. It can be two celery sticks before you eat something. It can be a salad before you eat something. So for instance, I always tend to have a big box of veggies cut up, and as I'm really really hungry and cooking, so I don't put in any other food, I take those veggies out of that box and eat those veggies. That gives me like it decreases my hunger and it gives me that lining that I'm looking for, that fiber lining in my stomach. Studies have shown that if you do this first thing, eat veggies in the beginning of every meal, it will decrease your glucose spike by 75%, you guys. 75%. Absolutely crazy. So, again, it's all about the fiber. Okay. Marcin, anything on
Yeah.
that?
So I'll with my simple brain, I'll always try to summarize what I'm hearing, just in case somebody thinks sort of the way I think. So you said fiber, very important. It creates this lining inside your pipes, and
Yes.
that helps with absorption. It makes you more regular. That's why you hear people say like, "Oh, a lot of fiber is good." Like definitely. And the way when you eat. So the first point number one is the order of the food categories, how they enter your body, right? So fiber is there first to line your pipes, and then you focus on proteins. Remember, you're eating, right? As you're doing this, you're eating, so you're being satiated. You feel less and less hunger over time, right? As you're eating. So fiber, then proteins, then fats, because they cause the spikes to be longer and smaller, and then in the end carbs. And remember, by the time you get to carbs, the point of this, to eat this way, is basically like you're kind of getting full over time. So when you start with fiber, proteins, fats, by the time you get to carbs, you need less of them, right? So you sort of build this foundation, better foundation, for the carbs to enter your body, and the reaction to the carbs is better. 75% is huge. If you're measuring your glucose in your blood, the spikes are high. Literally, when join us is 75%, they stay within a normal healthy limit, and that's why it's super important. All right, number
Yeah.
two.
So perfect. That brings us straight into point number two, is the order of food that you're eating. Very important. Sometimes we find ourselves, well, I am somewhere, right? I got a sandwich for lunch. Let's say you're in a meeting.
Yep.
Out of that sandwich, take out that lettuce, take out that tomato, and eat that first. Do it. Then take out your meat, your cheeses, eat them, and then have your fries or have your bun, whatever it is. Silly as it may seem, it is proven 100%. You will not be as hungry after. You will have less sugar cravings after you eat. Give it a try. deconstruct your sandwiches for lunch and start with your lettuce, start with your all your fiber things, then go into your proteins, fats, like Marcin said, and then carbs and sugars at the end. um, and that also comes, you know how sometimes we go to restaurants, we get all these appetizers and everybody's getting all these potato wedges and all this stuff. Ask for a little side salad. Eat that little side salad with vinegar and with olive oil. Doesn't have to be large. You know, three small tomatoes is enough to get your body into working into this. And then go on, have your enjoy the dinner with everybody else, but give yourself as much help of decreasing that sugar spike as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's
you're very religious about it. I know that you don't start your meals without eating veggies first. On my end, I usually include veggies on the plate, and I try to get there first. Am I 100% accurate? No, but totally agree with you. And like you say, like you mentioned, appetizers. We actually, you guys probably, I don't know if you're going to be shocked or not, but this is the way we used to eat. So when you go back to like I don't know, Europe, for example, if you were to enter any sort of Italian Greek kitchen in the past, this was just part of how we would normally eat. So we would always start with veggies, and
mhm.
then we would move on to other food categories. So it's normal, natural way of eating. It's nothing new. It's more of a reminder, right?
Yeah.
Um, all right, are we ready for number three?
Number three, very important, you guys. um, Savory breakfast. Why? Remember, when you wake up, your stomach has not been working even for 8 hours or 10 hours, whatever it is. Your stomach has not been working. If the first thing you put in is sugar into it, it's going to shoot right into your bloodstream. It's going to spike up that sugar glucose line for you, because you're hungry. You haven't had anything in your stomach. So always go for a savory breakfast. Um, Breakfast doesn't have to be breakfast how we think about it. Pancakes and French toast. Um, a lot of European countries actually have meats, deli meats for breakfast. They have salads for breakfast, or dinner from the night before is their breakfast. It doesn't necessarily have to be. I love my eggs, so a example of my breakfast is a salad with avocado with olives on it. That's my new love. With olives on top, a tomato. I love chives, cilantro, and I top that off with olive oil and balsamic vinaigrette. That's what I start with, and then I usually have my protein. I take all different types of protein uh, from sometimes kielbasa with onions, and then eggs, sausages, bacon, and that would be my breakfast. Um, Again, very important. When you're fasted after waking up, you don't want to put any sugar into your mouth. First thing, start with a savory breakfast. A savory breakfast will keep you going much longer. You won't have as many cravings. You might eat more of it, which is perfectly fine. If you notice that 2 eggs are not enough, that's okay. Eat 3 eggs. Eggs are actually very, very good for your brain. Very good fat for your brain. So, so it's okay. Eat more of it. You will be less hungry, less cravings. What increase cravings? Sorry, you guys, I'm just faster statements. Yeah, and I think that's it. So, oh, one more thing. So, we're going to talk about this probably next episode. Your brain, if you have glucose, if you have sugar first thing in the morning, it gets your happy hormone going, your dopamine in your brain. That's how you're setting up for the rest of the day. So if you put in that sugar, you're happy because your body's craving it, you know, your brain is craving it, dopamine hits off, it's high. Guess what? You're going to be want sweet for the rest of your day. Your brain will want sweet for the rest of the day. So savory breakfast, my friends.
Our breakfasts are totally different. I sort of changed the way of eating my breakfast. Before, it was when I started experimenting with intermittent fasting, I switched over to eggs with some sort of a side thing dish, right? I would usually have either, like you said, avocado. I would have my eggs sunny side, and then I would add tomatoes or avocado, or probably grab some veggies from the dinner before. These days, I am more not into eggs. I try to usually grab proteins for from whatever is available in the fridge. So when we have fish or chicken or steak, or it's not uncommon for me to just dip into my meats first. It's good for you. It's healthy for you. Proteins, they help with building your muscle mass, and when you're dieting, they help you retain muscle mass. So for me, it's meats. It's a simple preference. Sometimes Joanna likes to do like different omelets. Omelets are a great way to like mix things up because you can sort of go all over the place with your choices and flavors. So not just eggs. I was looking at a definition of savory breakfast. It says any savory breakfast with eggs or other lean protein like unsweetened yogurt, tofu, and nut butter. We don't eat nut butter for breakfast. We don't touch tofu, and we don't eat usually yogurt in the morning. So I'm not sure if I agree with the definition, but you guys understand what it is. It's focusing on veggies, meats, eggs, instead of doing your French toasts, bagels, and all this kind of crap.
Yeah.
Because that's just something that has been embedded in our brains that we have to touch breads in the morning. If you think of a typical breakfast like the way we used to eat, even if it was egg, it would be usually it would usually come with some sort of a toast,
Yeah.
muffin, French toast, fries, hash
Home
brown,
fries. Yeah.
whatever it is. Like it's usually some sort of a bad combo, followed by orange juice, which is just sugar water. Not gonna start that vent, but that's really what it is. So your breakfast, savory breakfast, like Joanna said. Number four.
Yeah, I just want to mention one thing about yogurt. Yes, yogurt is good for your probiotics. If you have a yogurt that is full fat and no sugar added, Greek full fat yogurt, no sugar added, no problem. Have it for breakfast. Um, but who wants to eat a tart yogurt in the morning? We're gonna end up putting stuff into it. Any granola, any fake sugars. That's it. You're done for the day. So definitely don't have it as your main savory breakfast. Stick to your meats and your veggies. All right. For vinegar, I think this one is our favorite. Again, if we're on top of it, we have a glass of water with 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Any vinegar will do. We do apple cider. Um, eh, 10 minutes to 30 minutes before your meal. So again, usually while I'm cooking, I have a big glass of my of water and 1 tablespoon of vinegar. I don't measure it. I take the cap from the bottle and just put two capfuls into the water, and that's what we drink. Why do we want to do this? We want to do this because vinegar has acidic acid. Acidic acid does really cool things for you. It slows down the breakdown of all your food. So now think about this. You're eating veggies, you got acidic acid, you're slowing down the breakdown of all the glucose, I'm sorry, in your body, which then helps you decrease that overwhelmment of sugar into your bloodstream and into your cells. It also helps with the glucose absorption into your large muscles. Perfect, because you want this glucose to go into your muscles, not into your fat, right? This helps it with this. This hack helps you decrease 30% of insulin in your body and the spike up to 20%. Um, it also is very helpful in then changing your body into burning fat after you stop eating. So it helps that metabolic switch happen much quicker than without the vinegar. 3 months of vinegar reduces visceral fat. This is the fat that I talk about around your organs, waste, hip measurements and triglycerides levels in your bloodstream. So this is a study that happened. People were drinking 1 tablespoon once a day before their most sugary meal. And for 3 months, they noticed the change in, again, reducing fat all over their body. Yep. So that's it.
Yeah. So I listen to all of this a lot of times, and I'm like, what do I do? So what you guys, the takeaway here is the apple cider vinegar. We have it in the bottle. Usually, after a while, you're going to learn how much to add to your glass.
Yeah.
It's whatever it is, 1 tablespoon, or after a while, you just kind of know when you're pouring, and you just have a glass. And we drink it. We even drink it differently. I literally take the vinegar, take the water, and I just I drink the whole glass, and then I move on to with my life. Joanna, she kind of sips and whatever. There's some people that are more sensitive to apple cider. Some people will complain a lot. They don't like the smell. They don't like the taste. If you don't, we're just sharing what works for us. This is actually one of the bigger hacks. If you can't touch it, don't do it. But if you can, it's actually it definitely helps a lot. 30% when you're measuring your glucose in your blood. When you have the meal, if you repeat the same meal the next day and have the vinegar, you're gonna see that 30% your spikes are gonna go down. So that's super helpful. When we travel, Joanna even puts a little vinegar in the bottle. When we're in the restaurant, we're actually asking the whoever's serving the table. We usually ask for vinegar. In some places it's weird. In some places you'll be shocked. They are already aware, so they know exactly what you're doing. But you can always ask for vinegar, side vinegar, or you can ask for a little vinegar in a glass. Not a problem. So it's an easy fix on the go. And I think that's what it is. Like I said, Joanna's super religious with this. Me, when I remember, I wish I was better. I'm working on it. So that's that. That was number 5.
That was number
Um,
4.
that's number 4.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I
So
gotcha.
I changed the order a little bit to what kind of makes
Gotcha. I
sense.
gotcha. Okay, number
Um, I just want to mention one more thing. There was a study comparing vinegar in a bottle, liquid vinegar, to vinegar capsules, gummies, and all that stuff. Not the same results, you guys. Okay, so if you are wanting to use this hack, please use the regular vinegar. I've seen people put it into teas. They say it's better in a warm tea. I personally like it with Marcin in a cold water, and just drink it down, and that's it. All right. Yes. So number five I put as pick dessert over sweet snack. Okay. So what does that mean? It means if you're gonna snack savory. If you want something sweet, leave it as a dessert at the end of your meal. Okay. Why not snacking sweet? Again, you have nothing in your stomach, you're hungry, it's going to go straight into your bloodstream, and you're going to have that high spike and then create more hunger, more cravings. If you want us, let's say you want this really, you're going out to eat, and in this restaurant you have this, this dessert that you really love, you want it, have it, but have it at the end. So have your vinegar water before you go out to eat. That's what I did in Mexico. I drank before going out to eat. When I went to work from home, I had to go to Mexico to work, so we went out to dinners. So in my hotel, before we went out to the dinner, I would have a big glass of water with my vinegar. Then I would get to the restaurant, have your veggies, whatever they are, have your meal, and then have your dessert. It's okay. It will decrease the spike. So please remember, snack, savory, leave your dessert, leave your sweets for your dessert. That's number
um,
5.
yeah. So again, I don't know if I have a problem with the word savory. It's the simple way again. Back to Mars's implementation. So no eating sweets for snacks. And when to like really simplify, let's say your calorie, because a lot of people bring up this argument of like, well, you can technically eat a donut if it's part of your calories. Yes, I mean sugar is bad for you, period. But if you need to have this donut, don't have it as a snack, and just attach it to your meals. So if you have 2,500 calories for the day, and your first meal is 1,000 calories, I'm simplifying again. Second one is 1,000, and then you're eating your two donuts at 600 calories. Make sure you attach them to your second meal or your first meal. It just
Yeah,
again it helps with the spikes, with the absorption. It's not as damaging. And
your
then
body.
if you need to snack during the day, use any handful of nuts or something, but don't reach for that sweet stuff because creates crashes and big spikes, and it's just not good for you because the sugar then it's absorbed differently. So
Yes.
so I guess that's the point. Um, Number six.
Next, number six. Yes. So number six is an interesting one. I don't practice it much, but I notice when I do and I do this not intentionally. I just happen to sometimes go for a walk with the dog after eating, that it's really really helping my weight. So move after you eat. I don't know about you guys, but I remember being young where as a whole family we would get together, we would eat in Poland. After that, we would all go for a walk. Never thought about it, but it's actually the best thing you can do for you. So have your meal, and then 10 to 90 minutes after, you go for a walk. You want to use your large muscles. If you can't go for a walk because you're at your desk, do like raise your calves up and down on your toes, do some squats, do some wall push-ups. It may sound funny, but you want all the extra glucose to go into your muscles. Again, what we want to do, the whole point of all these hacks is to decrease the spikes, which means use your glucose right away. And you can use this by using your large muscles that need this sugar to be activated and to work. And it goes the sugar will go straight into powering your muscles. So 10 10 to 90 minutes, do some kind of exercise using your larger muscles. That's about it.
So
Martin?
this one, yeah. So this one is actually you know how like she's really religious about doing the vinegar or maybe the order of the food categories. I actually love this one because it allows me to cheat. So sometimes after having a bigger meal, or maybe I have a meal and my snack in the end of the meal, because I do my walks, it's easy for me to just have the meal and then go for a walk. Like Joanna mentions, the walk.
Yeah.
I don't do any heavy exercise or anything as long as you're walking. It's funny that she mentions the contractions, like muscle contractions. Let's see if I can bring this up. A lot of this, the implementation and the ideas are in this book. I mentioned this in the previous episode, The 4 Hour Body. Tim Ferriss talks about it. He basically talks about like being at the restaurant, and it was something like ridiculous. He would go into like a bathroom stall or whatever after the meal and just do like squats or like pushing against the wall to do like wall push-ups almost. And then he laughs about it because he's like, when you're doing those muscle contractions at the table, not only you look weird, but you look like you're constipated. You kind of look weird. So you may want to be careful with that one. It does work. It's just it's not a conventional way of handling a situation like this. But I
Yeah.
personally, big fan. I love to do something activity after my meals. I know it helps me. It decreases again. The spikes go down. So one of my favorite ways of just implementing those hacks.
Yeah, and
Um,
I just want to mention that you do want to do this for about 10 minutes. So whether it's a 10-minute walk,
yep.
um, there, of course, you can't do five squats and expect, and this to be enough for you to burn what you just ate. That's just not possible. So at least 10 minutes. Okay.
Somebody that I know, a friend of mine, is actually implementing this hack. He's a biker. He jumps on a bike and he goes, whenever I do some. He's really bad about implementing the desserts portion of it, but he's like, hey, whenever I forget or I feel like I want to have the dessert and don't want to make it part of my meal, he's like, I would like eat it and then immediately jump on the bike to like to prevent that spike from happening. And he's like, it's a miracle because it's like I have it. I measure my glucose every single time, and it just barely creates a problem for him. So it works for him, with biking. So maybe if it's not working, maybe it's biking, but some sort of an longer
Yeah.
activity, right? It doesn't have to be super heavy.
Yeah.
Last one,
So
I think.
next one is dress up your carbs. Again, it's all about the absorption of sugar, and you want that absorption to be as slow as possible. So by taking your carbs, let's say, again, remember an apple is a carb, it turns into sugar in your body. It does have some fiber, but to help it to decrease that spike in your body, put some any nut butter. I like my plain almond butter or peanut butter. Um, One thing about nut butters, just make sure it's just nuts, let's say with salt, not nuts with palm oil and all this other stuff added on, or sugar, just a plain nut crushed up. If you want whatever cracker you really, really want, make sure you put some cheese on it. If you want fresh bread, because you're really craving bread, make sure you put butter on it. You want to dress up all your carbs in fats, proteins, and fiber.
Yeah. So correct. I was actually, as you were talking, I typed it in. Sometimes Google is your friend. So if you guys go and say examples of dressing up carbs, here's what Google returned. It said peanut butter and toast. You mentioned
Mhm.
butter, avocado toast
Yep.
because you're adding fats into to your toast. Chips and hummus. I know you
Hmm.
like hummus. I'm not a
Oh,
fan, but it's another way of doing it. Greek yogurt and chocolate cake. What?
yes, yes. So I that is a hack that I hear a lot. I've never tried it, but if you really
Yeah.
want your cake, put some Greek. Again, remember of this yogurt, no sugar added yogurt. Put like a big tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of full fat Greek yogurt.
Wow. The next one is almonds and cookies.
Yes.
That sounds right. Cookies
Right.
with almonds. Yeah, it almost like adding nuts to your cookie. Yeah,
All right.
perfect. Or maybe eat the macadamia cookies, my favorite. And then pesto over pasta.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. And if you think about it, like pesto and oils are usually added. Like I always say
All right.
when you go back in time, right? Like we
Yeah.
figured this stuff out a long time ago. It's nothing new. If Italians have been adding oil to their pasta, it's probably for a reason, right? And that's
Yeah.
exactly why. So those are just examples of, as you said, dressing up your carbs, right?
Correct.
Okay. Anything, this was the last hack?
That was the last hack.
All right, cool. Anything else we need to cover? I know maybe you wanted to mention some benefits, I think.
Yes, I don't have much. So there was a study performed. This study took over a period of only 4 weeks, you guys. 4 weeks. Using these hacks, significant decrease, and this is in the order of the decrease of the high decrease. I'm sorry, I don't have percentages, but I believe 98, but I think this one was really crazy. 98% less hunger because you felt fuller longer, okay? Which then led, of course, to losing the weight
Yeah,
automatically. Reduce cravings. Again, your dopamine went down, right? So you're not craving these sweet things. More energy because you're eating the right food for your body. Your body doesn't crash after the sugars. Mood stability. Again, what we eat is then later how we act. It affects us 100%. Better sleep. We talk about sleep all the time, how important it is, and what you put in your stomach matters as well of how you're going to sleep. Your mental health. You feed your brain the right things, it will respond back to you in a positive way. Skin improvements. I hear this a lot of times, especially from this lady that did all this research. She goes, I had such bad acne. If somebody would tell me to stop eating my Nutella crepes in the morning, I would have acne. Go figure. So yes, so skin improvements. Um, Diabetes improvements, again, your sugar levels go down, and hormonal health for all these ladies that that are going through premenopause, menopause, and PCOS. Uh, significant improvements in your hormones, and uh, lots of research of these ladies actually getting pregnant by themselves, no intervention.
Yeah. It's crazy that you said skin improvements, not something that we think of necessarily, but I can think of like two examples. I think one study was about teenagers and acne,
Mhm.
helped tremendously. A lot of times we take it for granted as like, well, teenagers have acne, so that's normal. A lot of times we can decrease it substantially by having our teens on just correct diet. And then the other thing that comes to mind is a lot of like guys when they go to the gyms, they use different supplements. I personally, whenever I take supplements and I eat bad at the same time, I would see my skin react, and it would be different acne, some sort of discoloration or whatever. If you combine it just with the right food, so it's not the supplements that are causing the problem; it's the supplements combined with your shitty food or the, whatever you're fueling your body with that's causing the problem. So if you can eat healthier and then you use those supplements, whatever you're doing, you'll see a tremendous difference. Like 80-90% of the skin problems go away. Um, and
Correct. I
that's it.
just want to mention for you ladies, I don't know if some of you have. I think it's rosea. Like you get this redness on the cheeks. It's all food related. I can tell you guys 100%. It was bad enough for me right here on my cheeks where the dermatologist I go for. I have lots of freckles, so I go for like an yearly or every 2 years for a full body check. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, you have so much rosea. I think it's called rosea. I'm not. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it's this redness, pigment redness on your cheeks here. It changed 90%, you guys. Once in a while, I get a little bit red here, hardly ever. But if I do decide to not follow my hacks and eat something that I shouldn't, 2 days later, my cheeks will be red. 100%.
Yeah, cool. Um, and then I think, are we at the end of the benefits?
That's it.
All
That's
right,
it.
cool.
So, if we have 2 minutes, I just want to
Yeah.
just say them over again. And I believe I'm gonna when we post this, I will put it in the comments. Are the 7 hacks? Okay.
Okay.
Um. All right. So number one is start your meal with veggies. Number two, eat in the right order. Your fiber. Then you're gonna eat your fats and proteins, or proteins and fats. Does not matter. Combine them. And then at the end, you're going to eat all your starches. Number three, savory breakfast. Marcin doesn't like that. A healthy breakfast, no sweet for your
Yeah.
breakfast. Four, vinegar. 1 tablespoon of vinegar into water, tea, whatever liquid you would like. Please drink that to 10 to 30 minutes before your most sugary meal, whatever it will be. Number five, dessert. Sweet snacks go as your dessert at the end of the meal. When you do need to snack on full unsavory things, no sugar. Number six, move after you eat. Uh, you got to move for 10 minutes using your large parts of your muscles, and up to 90 minutes after you finished eating. That's when it's more effective. And number seven, dress up your carbs in fiber or in fats.
Awesome. Um, Always here to kind of pull the latest information for you guys, provide hacks. Um, if you're kind of enjoying the content, the best way you can help us is to just invite more people, either to, if you're on YouTube, and you can give us a like or subscribe, that would mean the world. If you're in a Facebook group, and if there's anybody that can benefit from this content, if you're enjoying this, please invite them in. We always try to sort of pull information from different sources to make this weight loss more pleasurable, if you can call it that, and less painful. Today, I am actually heading out to Jacksonville. There's a TEDx Jacksonville conference. I'm super excited about it. The difference between the TED conferences and TEDx, the X one is basically a licensed version, local version. So that's where I'm heading out. Usually there's like 2-3 speakers. Food is actually a huge topic. Eating healthy, how we're impacted by food producers. Usually, there's people talking about it, so I'm actually looking forward to it to kind of hear more. But for today's episode, that was it. Any last minute thoughts?
Nope, that is it. Please reach out if you have any questions, or I'll try to include some books, some suggested readings for you guys, either throughout our group chats or through our face group. I think was the best place to put all this stuff. But you can always message any one of us, and we could give you some additional readings or interviews to watch. So
All
keep
right.
fasting, my friends. Keep using the hacks. You will definitely see improvement.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a great Thursday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.